Well, it's Bryan, and we're about to do a tour of Wellington, look at some of the places that there have been very intense political battles over. My concern in particular at this time is open space, and so we're going to go down to the south coast. Then we're going to talk to a friend of mine who has a wonderful sense of Wellington's history, a man called Larry Hanna, and we then go to Mount Victoria to look down on the city and talk about the waterfront. And also I think I want to do a small update on Manners Mall, and we'll have a kind of a chat about the local economy. One of the things that's taken place here in Wellington is that there's been a shift of the rating burden from the business community onto the residents, and despite that taking place, the small businesses who rent their premises are under huge pressure from rate increases, and so the moving of the business rates onto the residents hasn't actually provided any relief to a lot of the small businesses, which is rather ironic. And so considering the Chamber of Commerce that has called for and supported the shifting of this wealth from one sector to the other, and effectively what's happened is that wealth has been shifted from the people to the business community in the form of rating relief. So the city is in the middle of a really severe recession now. What took place throughout the rest of New Zealand has now finally reached the capital, and the consequences are quite severe for many people. So we're experiencing unemployment, and businesses are closing. There's lots of shops with to let and to lease, lots of office space. And so the whole scenario that I predicted, really going back as far as 1996 when I started talking about the problem of the cycles of the capitalistic system, how you have boom and bust, and that with the exuberance that we'd experienced on the back of cheap energy, the day of reckoning would come. Well, it's come to Wellington, and we now have elections for local government, and I'm standing for mayor. And so let's just have a little, if you like, snapshot, a small snapshot of Wellington as it is now. So here we are at the entrance of the south coast, and this little piece of land here was subject to an incredible battle to prevent the land being built on, and property housing development taking place here as a consequence of the local people and some committed environmentalists. That will no longer happen, and the land will be open space, and so it cannot have development on it, and appropriately so, to the entrance of this wonderful wilderness area on the south coast of Wellington. There you are, battlegrounds for open space and for our natural heritage, indeed.
Local body authorities coming together and helping out. I can't see the average citizen who owns property paying for this leaky buildings. It's running into billions, actually billions. And with the cost structure going up all the time, it could mean the person paying part of it could mean destitution and a form of poverty, like their own bankruptcy without going to court. You'd be living in dire poverty. So I think that the government and the local authorities would have to come together. We've got a very serious problem in Wellington. I'm now in Berrimore, and I've been told that the situation around here in these new apartments that's been built is critical. So I hope that the national government and local authorities can do something. I know that the progressive councillors, Southern Ward Councillor Pepperell and the Wellington Councillor Stephanie Cook are very worried about the situation. I think we've got to come together as citizens and do something about it, because we...
G'day, how are you?
Oh, alright, how are you?
What's been happening? Yeah.
Okay, well, good luck. Keep up the good fight.
We're in a recession in Wellington, and at this time retail rents are incredibly high. They're actually rising, and those retailers who are surviving are getting squeezed. Some people for small spaces pay $50,000–$60,000 a year. Others pay $280,000 for or you just ask, how do they possibly make profit? So the landlords, the property owners, are squeezing the small business and the retailers, and the thing is actually imploding in a rather extraordinary way. It's been on the front page of local newspapers, but for some reason there's a bit of a disconnect between the reality of what you can get for a rental and what they haven't understood is buildings with no tenants don't have a value. The other part of the equation is, of course, the banks are being happy to loan people, developers and property speculators money to buy property, and of course they've got huge loans which require a lot of funding, and they are being passed on to the community, businesses and so forth, in order to cover those bank loans which have been made on overinflated valuations. The same thing of course has happened in the residential property market, and of course the consequences very sad for many people, because we're seeing a rise in mortgagee sales throughout the country. Naturally, products and services have to be high in order to cover the costs of these expensive rentals. Yeah.
Local body authorities coming together and helping out. I can't see the average citizen who owns property paying for this leaky buildings. It's running into billions, actually billions. And with the cost structure going up all the time, it could mean the person paying part of it could mean destitution and a form of poverty, like their own bankruptcy without going to court. You'd be living in dire poverty. So I think that the government and the local authorities would have to come together. We've got a very serious problem in Wellington. I'm now in Berwick, and I've been told that the situation around here in these new apartments that's been built is critical. So I hope that the national government and local authorities can do something. I know that the progressive councillors, Southern Ward Councillor Pepperell and the Wellington Councillor Stephanie Cook are very worried about the situation. I think we've got to come together as citizens and do something about it, because we... Behind me is the Wellington waterfront. I'm at Mount Victoria, look out. This waterfront was owned by the people of Wellington. You had their harbour board, had elected representatives in the city council. And of course it provided no end of work, employment, and of course it was a source of the raw material coming in for local industries that are not in Wellington anymore. the present city council had an idea they could build hotels and things like that, but of course in times of recession you wouldn't make money out of it, and it wouldn't be for the average citizen's economy, it would be for the developers and people like that. It'd be for their economy, because the wage rate compared with inflation and the cost of living and the GST has gone down. So this area behind is very valuable to the developer because he makes money on it, and the person who buys it off may not make any money. And we've had some protests. It's been to the environmental court, but the council and the sort of contractors and people like that still want to sort of overturn environmental court decisions and build on it for their own purposes. There are people in Wellington who want to do it, and that's not a good thing, because it's a great relaxation area for the public of Wellington, which no one's taken into account in this.